Hello everybody, today I wanted to make a video about the Brook FGC2 Adapter for PlayStation 5. I have been a fan of Brook for a very long time. They've made really high quality adapters. I even have them on my Dreamcast, for my Xbox, and I also had the original Brook FGC1, which was a little bit of an interesting adapter, but now we finally have the best version that is going to work with all the PS5 games. Over the period of time that they have given me to review this, I have put around 40 hours using this adapter, and I'm going to tell you the best ways that I have found to use this. Because don't let the name fool you, because it's FGC. This now is for all the games, so we have a lot of interesting things to do with this. And also I have to say that it will work with all your peripherals that we have here. They have more detailed list on their website. I will leave it on the pinned comment so you can see for yourself, but we don't want to lose too much time, so let's go ahead and plug this in. Now I will suggest, first of all, if you have something that has only USB-C, that you will get something like this, a USB-C to USB-A adapter. It is very useful because you just put it on the front and it will just dangle a little bit like this, but it's not a problem, it will be safe. The reason I'm saying this is because you do not want this on the back of your PS5. You do not want this on the back. A lot of PS5s, if you have it a lot, especially for a lot of hours, and you just left it behind, there is a chance that the heat will get to this and it may start melting. It has happened before on tournaments for fighting games, so please check this out and put this on the front. After we plug it in on the front, all we have to do is connect it here with our Switch controller, for example, and let's see how it goes. Here it is. So something you have to take into consideration if you're using a Switch controller, your thing with your muscle memory when using a Switch controller could be that you're gonna press this, but you will have to press it like it's a PlayStation layout, right? So everything now is PlayStation. One of the myths over the years is that the D-pad on this controller is not very good, but I don't find it bad at all. Let's check out Street Fighter 6 with this. Alright, and here we are with Street Fighter 6, let's check it out. I have played with this quite a bit and I like it because it also has the insta triggers here. It's a click, you don't have to put any pressure on it, right? And you just do what, oh, okay, execution error. Alright, that was what I was going for. And yeah, I don't think that the D-pad is terrible. It's like you don't get immediately the up, although you can see sometimes that it happens. And there is no almost any input latency, but let's focus on the points, right? This you can use it, so like all these controllers that I have here, you can just use them like this. So let's check out other controllers as well. You can have even your Xbox controller that you use for this. Doesn't wanna cooperate very well, this D-pad. Actually, this D-pad I will suggest it more for tech, and it has very distinguished feelings of where it goes down and when you get the next click. Definitely better for that, like you can feel the diagonals a little bit when you want to press them, but when you're doing sliding, it's not as good as this. The feeling that we have from the DualSense when you are, because it's one piece. This one is a clicky D-pad. You can see here. Another cool thing that you can do is that some controllers that have dongles, you can just connect the dongle on the bottom of the thing and it will work fine. Let's check it out with the 8-bit arcade stick. All we have to do is connect the dongle on the back, and here we are, everything is working. So let's test it out. I haven't played in a little bit on arcade stick. And here we are, adjusted a little bit where I have it, it was too far away. Alright. Apologies for the performance. Over here is just, I haven't played stick for a while. But yes, like this is really what you can expect, like everything that is working. And the main thing, I showed mostly this, but the main thing is the first edition of the FGC would only support fighting games. And that was also a pain because a new game would come out and it wouldn't support the same controllers as the others on PS5, and the support was hard. But now that they made one that is universal, you can play everything. And that is really the point here, because now most of the games, they have PS5 native, and you don't want to be stuck before to the PS4 native stuff. So that's why I think this one is the best, because you can also play all the games, not just like this one. If I want, I can just go here, close this game, and I can go play Bloodstained, right? I want to play this game with a fight stick, why not? And you can be here playing this game with no problems. No problems at all. Because all it does, it is convert the signal and it should play as beautifully as ever. I don't really see a problem, and I think a lot of Castlevania fans not only want to use, I don't think the Castlevania fans will want to use this, but for platformers such as this, I think it's a good idea to show you how it will do with this one. And you can have your normal feeling playing these games. Now Bloodstained, sometimes you have to use the right stick, which is a bit annoying if you want to use this. But outside of that, other games that are platformers, I think a lot of people actually start to play platformers with this kind of machines as well, which is really interesting. And you definitely can be way more precise than you can be normally with just your D-pad, right? You don't really have any fatigue. You can take advantage of the SOCD as well if you want. But these games are not competitive. You're not gonna really have any issues when you're playing this kind of games. But you could do some techniques that are more complicated, that is for sure. So, let's see something else as well. Now, let's go back to the cool stuff. I think one of the best things now, these for fighting games may not be the best controllers, right? But what does this controller have really good is the 4 back buttons and adjustable tension on the sticks. This can be something that you really want, like the best customizable experience on a controller. Yes, you won't get the best vibration that you get from the DualSense, but here, this is really good. Especially I prefer it if I'm playing shooter games. That's why you see also this weird stuff, because it helps with the aiming. But the best thing is when you're playing games that best use as this to have it on your main hand here. Because usually when you put the D-pad here is for secondary stuff and this is for the main. One of the things I don't really love on the DualSense is when I have to aim a little bit like this. It feels a little bit unnatural when I'm trying to play games like this. I will prefer it to have it here. So something like Diablo 4, or even action games. I think I will use this easily for Ghost of Tsushima. What I have been doing actually is I have been using the Nintendo Switch controller to play Monster Hunter Wilds. I find it so good to use this controller to play Monster Hunter Wilds. I got used to this because I spent so much time in Generations Ultimate on the Nintendo Switch that it was just really comfortable for me, and I have been using that. Now for this as well, that is the cool thing, is mostly that you have your choices. Of course you have to be wired, you cannot be wireless, but that is hardly an issue because with some of these controllers, if you really want wireless, you have options. You can use something like 8-bit DO with their wireless dongles on their controllers and it will work perfectly fine. I personally think if you have a lot of different controllers or you don't want to buy a second one, this is a fantastic choice. Not just because you have the ability to put whatever you want as long as it's supported, of course, but the biggest controllers are supported from this dongle. You don't have any timeouts. I have thoroughly checked this to not have any issues on my system, and that's why I delayed a little bit the review for this. It's supposed to go like last week out, but I wanted to put more emphasis on the testing that it won't have any issues, because most people that will get this with the name FGC, they will get it for fighting games, but I wanted to do the review not just for fighting games, but for your shooting games, but for your everything. And that's why I wanted to make this review a little bit more unique around what you can use and how you can use it. And of course also here it matters to say, we have a lot of DualSense controllers, right? All you have to do is get your thing over here with your cable, get your PS4 controller, connect it, then link it, and it's good. You're good to go. That is one of the best things, because I know a lot of people prefer to play fighting games with this controller. But not only that, because you definitely gonna have a lot of controllers from this if you had the PS4, and they can go out for a lot cheaper. So I think this is a really good deal. Like if you have people that you play co-op games with, or you want to use specifically other controllers, this is definitely a purchase that I will recommend. I have tested it through all of the games that I play, and let me show you a little bit of a different game as well, right? Because I showed a little bit of games that most people know, but let's show a little bit of arcade games here. So let's check out Akai Katana Sin. And for me personally, when I'm playing shooting games, I'm using this controller. I love this controller. It has a low input lag. This around when you move it, it feels so smooth. I wanted to use it also for fighting games, but I'm not sure how reliable the D-pad in the end is going to be. But outside of that, I feel like it's very fun when you can play with controller like this, that you get the Saturn feeling and you can just enjoy older games that will be for that console with using specific controllers that you have. You can have like a Super Nintendo controller if it's supported, and you can use it over there. Most of the 8-bit DOS stuff that I checked, they work. So maybe that the Super Nintendo one will work as well. And you know, that is important because especially if you're playing like Castlevania old collections that were on the NES, maybe you will want to play the NES version, and you know, you will have the NES thing going on and it will work just fine. Because I tested this with some games like Batsugan, even though it has input lag, this was perfectly fine. The feeling and everything was completely fantastic. And that's why I love having these kind of adapters, and I was a little bit disappointed with the first iteration that was focused only on fighting games, because I'm using this stuff for everything. I don't use this only for this. And yeah, definitely super satisfied with this. I can use all my 8-bit DOS stuff that I own, and everything is working completely good, and there is no input lag, nothing that you can feel at least. Maybe there is something very minute, but because of the way that they use the thing, they don't really have anything over here. After 40 hours, I can definitely say that this is again something that you would want to have if you have multiple controllers like me and you play specific games with specific controllers because you're weird like me. So for those kind of reasons, definitely this is a must. But I also have to say that it's important to know it's not only for that reason. If you have a lot of spare controllers, you can use them, so you don't have to buy, like me, a lot of DualSense controllers just because they're limited edition. But not only that, because also the DualSense controllers, they have a low amount of battery, and if you value battery, you will definitely want something else. But we won't go too crazy with that because you have to be wired to play this. So yeah, that is pretty much the whole video that I want to make. I want to be focused on what you can do with this and how helpful it will be, this product, for you. Yeah, and I can easily say that, as I said before multiple times, this is what it does, and it does it very, very well. If you have a PS5 and you want to play with your other controllers, definitely take a look. I will leave links below. Once again, thanks to Brook for providing this for the review. Hope you have a beautiful day. See you on the next video.